Oh my goodness, this snow-covered Christmas tree wreath turned out adorable. Stick around and I'll show you how I made it. The links to most of the products I use are in the description below. So one of the first things we are going to do, we are going to be using a Dollar Tree witch hat form, okay? And what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut right here, and on the other side, and this right here. And what we're going to end up with is this, okay? It's just a nice triangle. It's just about, just under 10 inches wide and 20 inches long is what it's going to end up, okay? And what we're going to do from this point, we're going to use some plastic canvas, okay? This sheet is, let's see, it is 13 and a half, I'm sorry, this is 13 and a half inches wide and 22 and a half inches long, okay? So what you can do, if you are very careful, you can get two out of one of these plastic canvas. You should be able to do two of these, but you just got to be kind of careful with how you cut it and everything like that. So what I want to do from here is just trace out this form, okay, and then cut that out, and we're going to attach it using 4-inch zip ties. Okay. I have this plastic canvas attached now with the 4-inch zip ties, but I also want to use these bars going across and kind of reinforce this plastic canvas. Okay, so now I want to make sure I know exactly where the middle is on my wreath. So I'm going to line this up right here, okay? And I'm going to use my Sharpie and make sure I have from this line up here and just kind of trace right along that line using my cutting mat, and that right there should be the middle of my wreath, okay? And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go from the top, okay, go, let's say, I'm going to go about 1.5 inches down is going to be my first line, okay? Then from there, I'm going to go, I don't want to go, yeah, I'm going to go 2 inches. I'm going to go like to this line just above here, and then go every 2 inches. So we actually have 9 lines. Now this is what we're going to do. I'm going to use 9 branches or petals or whatever you want to call it on that bottom line. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so my math is telling me we're going to need 45 petals. So today we are going to use 2 rows each of emerald green and white. What I'm just going to use regular deco mesh. I normally like to use poly burlap, maybe even fabric mesh, but I wanted to kind of keep things a little more less expensive. So that's why I'm using just regular deco mesh. But what we are going to do, since we are using a petal that does not fray, we are just going to cut 10 by 10 pieces with a rotary cutter. Okay, so I have my 10 by 10 pieces cut. Okay, I have a bunch already made, but I'm going to show you how I make these petals. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether it's rolling towards you, rolling side to side. It's just going to all be the same no matter what. We're going to make the Star Trek petal. Okay, we're going to go from one corner to the other. Okay, and you know what? You really don't have to worry too much about how perfect it is or anything like that. Because guess what? It's a pine tree. Pine branches are all different. So who cares if they're really perfect or not? But, okay. If you want to be picky, okay, you could worry about whether or not the double-sided fold, okay, is on away from you or towards you. It really doesn't matter, but okay, I am going to take clothespin and keep that folded like it is. Okay, then I'm going to take a white and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Okay, I'm going to go from one corner to the other and then fold it over. Okay, again, I'm going to have that double fold away from me so it's the same as it is on the other side. Okay, so from here, I'm going to put the white over top of the green, and I'm going to use my mat here to measure. This is about 1 inch from the tip of the green to the tip of the white. Okay, if you want to make it even a little further, if you want to show more of the green, go up to like 1.5 inches. I wouldn't go much further than that. Okay, I'm just going to go 1 inch. Okay, now I'm going to scrunch the sides up together, and I'm going to kind of put my finger down here just to kind of make sure where we are. Okay, make sure we have that nice gap there, and then I'm going to push down and squeeze together. Okay, now it may not be exactly perfect, and we can adjust it here. Now what I'm going to do though, I'm going to try to go 5 inches from the tip of the green to where I'm going to put my zip tie, because I do want this, the size of my branches to be approximately the same. Okay, now I'm going to start to close it, but I'm not going to close it tight. I want to take a look at it. See if I need to pull one side down a little bit more or something like that, just to kind of make sure it's a little more even. Okay, and I do want to pull this one down just a little bit. Okay, start tightening it a little bit more. Okay, now again, I'm going to double check, make sure I'm at 5 inches, and then tighten. Okay, so there you have your petal. So what I'm going to do from here, cut the zip tie, and I'm just going to show you this, but normally I would cut it over top of my garbage can, but I'm going to cut these down. And I'm going to do half and half because it's entirely too much to do the whole one all together. But, and then have that cut. Okay, so there is your petal. And again, I mean, I'm probably leaving, just make sure it's less than an inch from the zip tie to the top of that. I mean, nobody's going to see it, but you kind of don't want that to be in the way of everything else. So, okay, and that is your petal. Okay, so I know there's going to be questions from people asking if this can be made with a UITC board, and the answer is absolutely yes. I suggest using it if you are comfortable with it. The only difference is you can see there are 12 rows of the UITC board, and I am only going to be using 9 rows in this. And you could also see the UITC board is much wider, so you definitely will be using much more product with the UITC board, but you definitely can still do it. Don't even worry about it. You can do it. Okay. It'll just be slightly different, but it'll work. Okay. Okay. So for this bottom row, I am going to have 9 going across, and I'm going to put my very first one right here in the middle. I'll just put my zip tie in there for now. Then I'm going to go put one on the outside all along that line that I made with my Sharpie. And all these outside ones is just going in the last complete hole of the plastic canvas and then around the form itself. And then I'm just going to go like right in the middle between these two. And I know it seems kind of a little odd, but you'll see what I'm doing whenever I'm done. So now I have my 5 going across. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put these petals in. And these ones on the outside, I want to kind of have them angled outward. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put zip ties in each of these holes, like right in between each of these petals. Okay, I was actually thinking these were wide enough that they were going to sit a little bit on top of each other, but these actually fit pretty good side by side. So if you wanted to just go straight across and straight across, by all means. But I thought it was going to look a little bit different, but this is working out okay. And again, make sure these outside ones are definitely flaring out, because you want that flare as you're going up. Okay, and we're going to keep going up. The next row up, we're only going to have 8. Again, I am making sure these ones towards the outside flare, And like the second one's out, like in from the outside, flare just a little bit. Okay. So now we're going to go to the next row, which is going to be 7 across. So again, we're going to have one right there in the middle. Okay, so the next one up is going to be 5. And as we're going along, we're just making sure that any zip ties or anything is definitely hidden from the previous row. Okay, that way, you know, nobody wants to see zip ties and nobody wants to see, you know, the back of the form or anything like that. You want to make sure all you're seeing is the petals from the previous row. Okay, and I think this is working out perfectly. Okay, so on to the next row. Okay, so I just finished this row of 5, and I'm kind of seeing a little bit of the form behind it. So I'm thinking the petals aren't quite big enough. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do, instead of making this a row of 5, I'm going to make this a row of 6, a second row of 6. Okay. So what I'm going to do, just turn that over where the zip ties are. I'm going to snap those off. I'm going to leave these outer petals on simply because we're going to be just replace them anyway in the exact same spots. But yeah, I'm going to put 6 across here instead of 5. And then 5, 4, 3, and 2. Okay? I hope that didn't confuse you too much. Okay, I feel much better about this. Okay, so I'm going to go 5 up here. These top 2 branches, I'm not so concerned about it flaring out so much as I want it to come straight down and hide any of the zip ties and things like that. That's kind of right there in the middle. So that's where we are. I think this is gorgeous. Okay, so from here, there's a couple things we can do. We can do a bow. We can, if you wanted to do just like paint a star and put the star on top. If you want to, have that star and have other stars coming down. You want a giant snowflake up there, have snowflakes coming down. There's just so many things we can do here. And I'm going to have a tough time picking which one I want to do. So let me try to figure out what I want first. Okay, so I think I decided what I'm going to do is use this iridescent snowflake ribbon. I could not tell you where I got this. I've definitely had this for a couple of years. This is already off the roll even, so I don't know what I tried using it for before. But hey, I have it. I think it's going to work out perfect for this. And then I have these snowflakes that I got from Dollar Tree. They're supposed to be ornaments. All you got to do, this silver hook, just cut that off. And because we won't be using that. We're just going to end up gluing these onto the front. I also have these white iridescent. I have no idea where I got them, but I have them. I may use them, I'm not sure. But I'm going to just go ahead and make a bow. Yeah, let's give this about an 8-inch tail. We could always cut off. We can't add on. Well, we can add on, but it's a little more difficult. Okay, so I'm just going to do a nice loop that's 1, 2, 3, 4.5 inches. I think that should be big enough for that. We don't want to go too big. And then make sure they're even. Yeah, so I'm sorry, what I'm doing, okay, going to make a loop and then twist, make another loop. Make sure they are even, okay, and then twist. One more. Twist. That way when you twist, you're keeping the outside, this is the shiny side, to the outside. Okay. I'm going to do one more on either side, and that should be plenty. Okay. And again, make sure that's even. Okay. And then we'll end up cutting some of that off. And of course, you should have some wire ready. This is one of the things, I guess, I do every single time. So I'm going to try to cut that while holding onto this at the same time. Okay. Set that aside. Put this wire around. Again, I'm going to make sure where I put the wire is even. It's like exactly where my thumb was. Okay. And then we're going to twist. I'm going to twist the ribbon. Okay, because that way we are twisting into the ribbon, making it tighter, so that when you fluff your bow, you're not pulling from one side. So now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do a dovetail here. And then I'll do a dovetail over here. Okay, and there's our bow. And we'll adjust it once we get it on to the wreath too. Okay, so I put this bow on. I'll show you kind of how I did it. Right where those zip ties are, I went just below them through the plastic canvas, kind of like around the outside of the petal, through the plastic canvas on either side, and then just twisted it back here. I wasn't sure if that's where I wanted it for sure, but I think that's a good place. And I just kind of did a zip tie back here just to make a nice loop. You can use pipe cleaners, wire, whatever you want to use. Okay, so now we got the bow. I got some hot glue kind of brewing right now. And what I'm going to do, I have these, and I don't know how I got this one. This one's a lot bigger than these others. So I'm just going to kind of put that one up at the top. And what I think I'm going to do, kind of shove just a little bit underneath one of these branches, just to kind of hide it, but we're not hiding it really. But that's going to kind of help hide the glue anyway. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Kind of get that. And that big one's going to be on top. That way it's kind of hidden underneath the bow, but it shows. And then I'm just going to alternate kind of going down with these. Okay. And I kind of want to make sure where like that little loop is, either we cut that off or we hide it. And again, you can just kind of shove that underneath. So that is going to be kind of, it's going to be hidden, but it's also going to be how we attach this. We might add a little more glue here later on. So this is our finished wreath. What I love about it is the fact that the petals don't fray. I think it's fantastic. We don't need to worry about the fraying. I love it. So we have that. We have all the snowflakes, the gorgeous ribbon, these little snowflakes from the Dollar Tree. I love these little ones. Yeah, I don't know where I got them from, but I love them. It all turned out perfect. It's adorable. I love it. So let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear from you. My name is Patty Davis. I'm with Crooked Tree Creations, and I'll see you in our next video.